with the help of specialized equipment, thanks to the reliable electricity which has also been extended throughout the country. All this and more has been made possible because of you.
Join us and together let's do more for our country. Get your free tin instantly at www.ura.go.ug.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Uganda is rich in natural resources and hard-working people. But to turn these resources into real progress and development, we need to invest in our infrastructure, education, and health care. That's where taxes come in. When we pay our taxes, we are investing in our country's future. We are supporting the schools that educate our children, the hospitals that care for our families, and the roads and bridges that connect our communities. And when businesses pay their taxes, they are contributing to the growth and development of Uganda's economy. They are helping to build a stronger, more prosperous nation for us all. So when you pay your taxes, you are investing in the future of Uganda and supporting the progress and development of our nation. Uganda is because of you.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Mugasha, did you see the game last night?
I slept looking for a receipt. Up to now I'm still looking for it.
What kind of receipt?
There is a certain receipt. I need to file my returns. I'm trying to find it.
By the way, do you know these guys of URA asked for 3 million from me?
Me, I paid 500,000 only.
You mean you pay only 500,000?
Yes.
They asked for 3 million. Why am I being asked to pay more?
I don't know.
You must know. We have the same level of capital, same rent, same premises. We even meet the same expenses. Why am I being taxed more?
I don't know. But for me, I sent my income and expenses via the URA website.
So they are punishing me because I did not send that through the website. Mugisha, you know these things. You know the type of expenses we go through here.
I know. But how will URA believe you if you don't write them down or keep records for your receipt as proof for your income and expenses for your butchery?
Mugisha, you mean you write all these things down?
Yes, I do. I write every detail. You see, the good, the amount, and the person involved.
But where do you get the time to write all this?
Immediately the transaction is done, or at the end of the day. But at minimum, I must know the income and expenses for each day. Otherwise, it is very easy to forget or confuse.
So, this is how your tax is being reduced?
Actually, it automatically shows me the tax I have to pay, without reducing my business capital. It also helps me not mix my business money with the money I get from the garden. Aha. Do you know that this book is showing me that you haven't paid me the carton of soda I advanced you last month?
Mugasha, you also remember that?
Yes. This book helps me to remember every detail about this shop.
Mugasha, guy, you know things and you don't even tell me.
You didn't ask. Try it. You'll thank me later.
Let me first deal with the customer.
But wait, don't forget to pay the URA tax in time.
I won't. I will not.
Okay.
Uganda Revenue Authority, thanks you for paying taxes.
Hey, what is Shadia? Uncle Dakasim Nisha, Papa. mutawana ki ng'olabika weeraliikiridde.
URA manja kankubuli basooka ne bampeereza ekipapula kya miliyoni 2 omwaka guli ne mpalapalanya ne sibasasula nengira ki mba ndi wano nga bandeetedde ekipapula kya miliyoni 6 mba simanyi mulimu penalite simanyi mulimu biki ng'omusolo gwazaala abaana n'abazzukulu sikulimba gwokola otya
vaawo naawe Shadia omusolo tegukulemesa site naawe ng'ate gavumenti yabigonza
kati nkole ntya
okimanyi nti bw'osasula kati omusolo gwo gwonna ogukubanjibwa okuva emabega okutuuka nga 3 June 2023 tojja kusasula magoba na ngasi oba ziyite penalties.
Kisoboka kiti ekyo
fe abasuubuzi ababadde babanjibwa emisolo emikadde gavumenti yatuteerawo waiver
byebiki ebyo
okay kati kiriwo ekiti omwaka gw'ebyensimbi guno ogwatandika nga 1 July 2023 gavumenti yagamba nti buli muntu asasula omusolo gwe mu bujjuvu nga 31 December terunnatuuka ajja kusonyiyibwa amagoba n'engassi oba ziyite penalties. Yes kyekyo bwe kityo bwe kitambula akasonyiwo katambula.
leka naawe nga URA ekusonyiwa omusolo yeekuddako tebasobola
kitunulire bwoti baali bakubanja miliyoni 2 kati ne bakola bakuleeta ekipapula kya miliyoni 6 nga bataddeko engassi n'amagoba okitegeera kaakati bw'osasula kati ojja kusasula miliyoni 2 zokka kati gana amagoba n'engassi agaweze miliyoni 4 tojja gasasula bagakusonyiwa
bane biweeva mbisangewo okusasula
sasula mu bujjuvu omusolo gwo gwokka ogukubanjibwa ng'okozesa emikutu egy'enjawulo egisasulirwako omusolo oba nyiga kamunyenye 285 kadaala oba genda ku ofiisi ya URA yonna ekuli okumpi oluŋŋamizibwe ng'omukisa guno tegunnaggwako. Uganda Revenue Authority tukulaakulanyize wamu Uganda.
Uganda Revenue Authority reminds all taxpayers to file their monthly returns and make all outstanding payments by the 15th of every month. Please comply to avoid penalties and interest associated with failure to file returns and payment of these taxes. For further clarifications, call us on our toll-free line 0800 117 000 or email us on services@ura.go.ug. Please ignore this message if you have already complied.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
In chess, the small one can become the big one. It's the same here. And here too. Watch every move. Record every number so you can plan better. No matter the size of your dream, tomorrow's success belongs to those who keep today's records clean. File your returns today.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Jangu eno naawe olowooza ababbi b'oku streeti be banzibye saabo kankubulire natikka ebintu byange okuva China ne baŋŋamba neetaaga tiini namba nze nga sigirina neetuma omuntu omulala abindeetere kati ngenze mu URA baŋŋambye ebintu byange tebiri mu manya gange era si byange mbu sayina tiini namba nze kati nebya tiini namba sibitegeera nfudde obusete neewola bwewole ye tiini namba byebiki bannange sente zange
oba giyite namba musuubuzi zewandiisa muwala asasulira emisolo
kati ebyo nze njifuna ntya bambikola ntya
ebintu babigonza olina ndagamuntu
iyi njirina
ogenda bugenzi ku website ya URA
www.ura.go.ug awo n'olondako e-services then n'ogenda ku tin registration
awo nno oteramu n'ennamba yo n'omwaka gwe wazaalibwamu amannya go gajja kweleeta automatically. Awo n'ojjuzaamu n'ebirala bitono nnyo ebyetaagisibwa ng'ennamba y'essimu yo, email address yo ne gy'obeera. Era nga bino osobola obbisanga emabega wandagamuntu yo. Then n'osubmitinga nga kamesagi kajja direct ku ssimu yo mu ddakiika ntono nnyo.
Nga sinna. Bannange bintu bikolera ddala bannange obugayaavu kibi. Omanyi nti obugayaavu bukuza muti bannange weebale Dangote. Bannange omponyeza. Omanyi ebintu byange bingi byowonyeza okubbibwa. Nzizeyo mu URA mbalage nti njirina.
Okubeera ne tini namba kikuyamba mu bintu bingi nnyo, okugeza mu kusuubula n'okusuubuza eby'ebyamaguzi mu Uganda ne wabweru wa Uganda, okuddizibwa ensimbi okuva ku misolo gy'ozosasula, okufuna looni mu banka ez'enjawulo, okufuna layisinsi okuva mu government agencies zonna, okuwandiisa emmotoka yo n'okugula oba okutunda ettaka.
URA tukulaakulanyize wamu Uganda.
Acquiring a tin is now easier than ever before with a new interface that is brief, simple, and cuts out all the excess fields from previous applications. All you need is your national ID or driver's license or passports and internet access, and you're good to go. No more waiting in long queues, as you can now acquire a tin instantly from wherever you are. Remember, it's free. Experience our new and improved modern interface that is user-friendly.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together. Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
URA sinaba kusasula nsolo Janet lete basa gye nakuwa bannange sinasasula URA aya essaawa zigenda kuggwayo nasembayo kuwa aya essaawa zonna ebiyinza okuba nga bye bino kangende biranja bikeberere Afande, njagala kudduka genda kusasula musolo ngenda kusanga basibyewo.
Nyabo, ekisabadde kipakusa. Tokimanyi nti URA yabigonza dda. Kati osobola kusasula ku simu yo nyabo.
Ntya afande?
Onyigawuniza *285#. Ogoberera emitendera egyo ng'ofuna ka message. Ate URA yakuwaliza ekyapula. Teba kubanga URA.
Thank you so much afande.
Okalubirizibwa okusasula omusolo gwa bizinesi y'omubudde genda bugenzi mu simu y'onyige kamunyenye 285#. Abaddukanya bizinesi entono eziyingiza wakati wa miliyoni 10 ne miliyoni 15 omwaka bakwanguyirwa okusasula omusolo gwabwe ogwa presumptive tax nga banyigabanyizi kamunyenye 285#. Banyumirwa enkola enennyango etali mu nsindikagano.
Nyabo, bannange bya ddala. Janet, omuntu awonye layini. Gwe, ngenda kusasuliranga ku simu labayo bannange.
Tuzimbire wamu ebiseera by'omu maaso ebitangaavu nga tunyiga kamunyenye 285# olunaku lwonna essaawa yonna wonna w'oli. Uganda Revenue Authority, tukulakulanyize wamu Uganda.
Otyo mwami Musoke, njose neekusanga.
Ate kiki?
Munnange, anti gwamanya okunyinyonyola ebintu by'emisolo bino n'embitegeera.
Ate kiki leero?
Mbadde ku dduuka ne mpulira ng'abakyala bagamba mbu tulina okwewandiisa mu nkola ya IFRIS.
Tukikolanga.
Ate ekimbadde
kituufu nnyo.
mbadde sikimanyi nakyo.
Eyo y'enkola egenda okutuyamba okulwaninga bizinesi zaffe mu ngeri ya digital.
Etya.
Oba olina okuwandiisa bizinesi yo mu IFRIS, osobola okumanya omuwendo gw'ebintu by'olina mu bizinesi yo, enfulumya n'ennyingiza mu bizinesi yo. Awo URA esobola okukola omulimu gwayo ogw'emisolo obulungi.
Nedda mwami Musoke kye sitegeera. IFRIS eyingira etya mu bizinesi yange?
Kakati enkola eno ya IFRIS eyingiza bizinesi yo mu sisitemu ya URA.
Gentlemen, just a quick update. The Honorable Minister or Chief Guest is at the second platform, which is one of the two he was meant to see before he comes to the booth, so within the data center. And I think he's currently at the contact center, which is on the other side, before he joins us here at the booth. And when he does join us here, we'll be able to probably hear URA team taking through the different platforms that are available, the innovations that URA has undertaken to ensure efficiency of service delivery for our taxpayers and for Ugandans at large. So if you just joined us, we did start already, and our chief guest is currently on tour of those different facilities. And as he does that, in case you just joined us and you haven't been alerted, we still have some Ugandan coffee and tea on this other side at the back of the tent, on this or the front of this tent, which is on this other side. So you can make your way and pick up coffee or tea, and then return to the room for us to await the return of the Honorable Minister. I did also mention that you can register in case you walked in and you haven't registered with us and registered your presence here. We have a QR code under the table. That QR code will take you to a platform where you can register your names, your organization, your designation, and of course your details, your phone number and email. That is to register your presence and your attendance for this digital strategy launch. The other QR code on your table is the digital strategy itself. So if you scan the QR code, you will get the digital strategy downloaded onto your phone. And so as we run through the strategy, during the presentation of the strategy by the Commissioner CITI, URA is that city or CITI? City, right? Okay. The Commissioner City, when he runs through the strategy, you will have a copy. You have a copy on your phone. You could see the details of the strategy itself as he takes us through the strategy. And finally, in case you're looking for a washroom, it's on this other side of the tent. You just walk out and turn right. You will be guided to where the washrooms are. That said, this is streaming, and the conversation we're having this morning will be streaming on all the URA platforms, including their live stream platform on YouTube. So that is available for you to send to a colleague who didn't make it here, who would want to follow. And it would be important for you to share with your digital teams in the office where you work, and your colleagues at the office that run your IT spaces to be able to follow the conversation today, but also with your accounting officers and those that have access to the URA portals, especially when filing your returns. And that will be good for them because they will get to see the different innovations that are being undertaken by the URA that support a quick filing, but also your engagement with the URA platforms. All right. So that said, I want to transition, and I know there is a small recording that is ongoing. I don't know how that will happen if I transition to Crane Performers. But as I await that recording to end, the Honourable Member of Parliament, I will again reiterate the fact that as soon as our Chief Guest is back, we will transition into the opening session of our digital launch. And then I will hand over to my sister Jessie, who will handle the panel discussion. That session will include an open plenary session. If you have quick questions for our panelists, and they are diverse, representing different institutions and stakeholders in the tax space. And then we will officially launch the digital strategy, and then have an award ceremony just before we close. That will be done in the fastest time possible. We won't keep you here too long, but we really wanted to let you know what's happening and continue to share with you the conversations that will be happening this morning. We want to recognize all our key stakeholders that did join us this morning, including the financial institutions that are represented here. I will run through those a little later, and all the government agencies that are in this space, the URSB, NITA Uganda, UCC, and all the other stakeholders that have been invited to be part of this conversation this morning. And also, a lot of our taxpayers have been represented, especially the large taxpayers, and of course Casita. You are represented in this room, and we want to thank you for coming to be with us this morning. All right? So I'll now transition to Crane Performers and allow them to entertain us. And Crane Performers, when the minister comes closer to us here, because we might need to use the microphone, we will have to give them some, quiet, so they are able to listen to the presentations that will be made for the minister within the booth. Crane Performers.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. challenge we had of visibility. Welcome, dear guests, and we are glad to host you here at the Client Experience. We are from Client Experience, my colleague Adson Kalima, and we are going to take you through one of our solutions, which was developed basically to enhance the quality of support we give to our clients. Now, previously it was informed by the problem we used to face as an institution, where we had this integrated service support solutions developed by different departments. So we came up with a solution that collects and automates all support channels, where we can see people who walk in, people who are using touch point, people who are calling through, people who are sending mails, and we have given visibility through all the leadership levels. Services mail, and they will be received in the same system. They can make calls through our toll-free lines. You've been at the contact center, where you've actually been taken through. In the interest of time, I will open the questions. Exactly.
show you the new web portal that we've developed. Yes. Yeah. So we've been having a web portal which was not user friendly to the client to access the key services that we need. But now we've changed it into a more user friendly portal where you can easily find the key services that we need for tax administration, make payment, registration, filing returns. These are now very easily accessed on the front page. This portal also has key links to all the other URA services, custom services, systems we recently logged, and also it has other links to other extra services or other agencies. So with this portal, it is now going to become very easy for the clients to access the key services required to comply with tax administration. In addition to this, we've also made other enhancements. You know, return filing has been a big challenge. We've transformed some of our returns into web forms. We recently launched the IFRE system, and in that system, clients make their financial transactions. However, at the end of every month, they were required to re-enter those transactions in the Excel returns. But now, that is gone. You only find your return already pre-filled in with the information, and all you need to do is to submit the return. You find the liability already populated, the tax position. As you can see here, it has been demonstrated. The Excel return was more complex. It required people with high skill in navigating the Excel forms. But now here, even you, Honorable Minister, you can easily just click it and submit. You don't need a very technical person to do for you the return filing for VAT. So in this case, for example, this is a sample taxpayer we've selected. You just find that after this, you find the liabilities already pre-filled in, and all the client needs to do is to submit. The liability is already pre-filled here, and you come to the tax summary, and you submit. And the return filing is done. So in the original Excel, you had to fill in all these schedules, repeating the same information which was already provided in IFRS. So ideally, it was not making sense to capture the same information more than once. Okay, so with this now, it is much more easier. So this, yes. So there's also been this, yes, the tax incentive. Honorable Minister, there has also been this issue of the waiver of tax. Now with this portal, now the waiver is also implemented, and we're here to show you. It has come with two things: the simplification of the ledger, in which the tax position is derived, and the implementation of the tax waivers per 40C. So now in this new ledger, you're able to get the waivers, and we've made it easy for the clients to know their principal tax and the interest that will be waived if they pay the principal tax. So from this ledger, it's easy to know that for each period, what is the liability, what have you paid, and what is outstanding for that specific period, and which periods haven't you paid. Okay, so that becomes very easy now. As you can see, this ledger now doesn't require a technical accountant to explain for you. It's a period paid, you've either paid or not. Yes? Now, for purposes of payment, you're supposed to go to the payment page to see. We've now connected the tax position to the payment page. Sometimes you don't have to navigate so much to know your principal. So when you go to the payment page, you're able to see directly while registering a payment. And then you see which tax is outstanding. Let's just demonstrate for you, sir. Okay. Account, yeah. So select president. Yeah. Okay, so here is a client attempting to register a payment. At this point, we are showing you what is the outstanding tax, what interest is outstanding. Now, if a taxpayer wants to take benefit of the waiver, so it means you're only going to pay 11 million and then the 27 will be waived. We also don't allow you to pay more than that because by default, it will be waived. You don't want to collect tax which is automatically going to be waived. So this has been made easier even at payment registration. So you only get a payment of principal tax and that's what you go and pay. Yeah. Yes. Honorable Minister, this new URA portal also allows for multiple languages, as you can.
Stop, and it will stop the conveyor. Kind of showing you that indicates a red or a green to show that red. Added to that serial number, sent to URA, and URA is able to now to tell. Yes, so each product is captured. Yes, sir.
The prices will vary because these stamps are different. The stamp for soda is different from the stamp for juice or for beer. They are different. So it depends on which category. Now, beer is beer. Nairobi is where they do beer. So the stamp is different from that of water. It's unique. That's also part of. I think as a Commissioner General is here, the Minister of Finance, based on our analysis, when it comes to
24.1 billion of the year before last financial year. So it's good to monitor the performance of the local governments. All revenues collected through Uganda Revenue Authority to the consolidated account. And then also through this, we are able to give out instant tins for the taxpayers that do not have tins. We capture the information related to URA. URA returns the tin, and we're able to serve the taxpayer. And then also we have interfaced this with IFMS for reconciliation purposes. We are now in 124 local governments. The local governments means the cities, municipalities, and the districts. A total of 124. Sorry? The overall is 176, but we are in 124 right now as we speak.
So a simple question. Local governments normally complain that you override them and maybe collect taxes that ought not to be yours. What are the different tax heads and how do you relate to those local governments?
All the revenue sources of that we collect through the system are according to the Local Government Act, CAP 243, and we have put them here, like trade license, hotel tax, property tax. We only collect what is allowable within the local government. Yes. Apart from now, when we are interfacing with URA for presumptive tax, we are only providing another channel for a taxpayer to be able to comply with the revenue source. So we don't collect anything outside the law. Those that are not yet on the system.
Honorable Minister, you're most welcome. We want to welcome you back. Ladies and gentlemen, our chief guest is back in the tent after what has been a very, very busy tour of our 3 centers, the day center, the contact center, and finally the booth. Honorable Minister, thank you so much for your time this morning and for gracing those centers where the URA, working with our partners, the UNDP, are pioneering the digital transformation conversation that government continues to promote. So ladies and gentlemen, we will now quickly transition into the formal event, but allow me in a very special way, again, run through our existing protocol. The Honorable Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, the Honorable Matia Kaseja, members of Parliament, and Honorable Minister, I see almost all the members of Parliament on the Finance Committee. I think we can hold a Finance Committee meeting here of Parliament. And that shows the power of a stakeholder engagement that the URA has. So I want to recognize the members of Parliament who are here, and we want to thank you for joining us this morning. The URA board, represented here by some board members, our Commissioner General, Mr. John Rujochi, who is our host this morning and early afternoon, the URA management team, and I'm speaking for URA by recognizing our very own UNDP, represented here by the Deputy Country Manager, the Country Representative, Shilangatia. Yes, please give them a round of applause because that's the support we have got from the UNDP. All the taxpayers in this room. Honorable Minister, I want to report that we have an ongoing live registration process for everyone who is here. Members of Parliament, there is a QR code on your table. If you haven't registered, just scan the QR code. We also want to know you are here. But Honorable Minister, I was just letting you know that everyone who is here has a TIN number. So all the taxpayers are here in this room, and everyone here is a taxpayer. Can we give ourselves a round of applause? What I have asked the domestic tax team to do is verify if they are paying on time. And the only advantage I know, a lot of our people, Honorable Minister, were worried of registering when they came. And when they discovered the TIN number is not being asked for, they were comfortable. So everyone has registered. So we want to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to this launch of the digital strategy. Honorable Minister, we've provided the strategy for download. Again, URA has gone digital, so we don't have physical copies. All we have on the tables is a QR code, which we've asked our guests to scan, and they will immediately download the QR code. We want to thank the members of the Fourth Estate, the media organizations represented here. Of course, Honorable Minister, I'm representing UBC here, so that goes without mentioning. But we have other stakeholders, including, I did see my other brother, the Honorable Barieku from Baba TV and Baba FM, who is here, and I was told he pays his taxes on time. I want to recognize the Nation Media Group, and I think Sam is representing the Nation Media Group. Honorable Minister, they are going through a transition, and we are hoping the next administration at Nation Media Group will be a bit more friendly to government. So we welcome you, the financial institutions that are represented here, the agencies represented here. We have the URSB, Honorable Minister, who will help us with the registration. NITA Uganda, who are very critical in the conversation around the digitization process. They are represented here. And your very own friends, Honorable Minister Kasita, are also here, and they're well represented. So we want to appreciate our traders. We want to kickstart with opening remarks from our Commissioner City. So may I invite Mr. Robert Mutebi to come and make welcome remarks. He will run us through a PowerPoint presentation, setting the tone for this digital strategy. And I did reference the fact that we now have the strategy on our phones. So as he runs through the strategy and the highlights of the strategy, you can be looking at the strategy you have on your phones. And I want to welcome, can we give a round of applause to Mr. Robert?
Our guest of honor, the Honorable Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, the Permanent Secretary and the Secretary of the Treasury, or the representative, members of Parliament, the resident representative of the United Nations Development Program, who supported us to hold this function, officials from the ministry, departments, government agencies, the business community, our URA board, senior management colleagues and staff, members of the media, distinguished guests. Good morning, or is it afternoon? My job here is very, very simple, and I'll make it quick. It's really to tell us about where we are and why we are here today. We are launching our digital strategy this morning, the digitalization and IT strategy. And the story is really simple. That at the URA, we've changed the game. Initially, we've, by and large, been playing checkers. And if some of us know checkers, it's draft. We're familiar with that game. It doesn't require a lot of trying to play with this. It's not working. Can you help me with this? Yeah, this is what checkers looks like. It's a very simple game. It's highly reactionary. It is normally frenzied, quite fast-paced and the like, and has very limited strategy. I think many of us have played this game. What we are moving to right now is playing chess. And the difference here is that this is a more complex game. It is strategic. You need to think ahead of time. Right now, when we talk about tax administration, we know, for example, e-commerce is some complicated space that you need to figure out. And each piece plays a unique, is very unique in its ability. Some of us who have been walking around, you realize that what we do in manufacturing is different from what we do in fast-moving consumer goods. It's quite different from what we do for the local government, and we have to build these kinds of systems every other time. You need to think. Thank you. Clear. Clear.
Check, check, check.
There you are. Well, I was locked in one place, and it's not typical. We IT people to be in one place. But anyway, thank you. What I was saying really is that you need to think about the moves ahead. We're living in a world that is becoming more complicated in terms of business. So you need a strategy to win and ability to think. And how we think in the URA is really a story of data and being able to drive an organization that's data-driven. And so, because it's chess, it's a more complicated game, but it's what we need at the URA to be able to play as a high-performance team that meets the targets that we're given for the benefit of our country. To be able to achieve this mission, as a URA, we've taken on two major assignments, especially from a technology angle. One is to simplify our customer journeys. And wherever we've moved, we've seen USSD, we've seen portals, we've seen a revamp of the touch points that we engage through with our clients. Today, you can get support on WhatsApp from URA. You can be able to log onto a portal, like a touch point, and be able to log your issue. One day I was moving in the corridors up there, and I used to see people coming in all the time. But this time I meet a guy, and I asked him, what are you doing? How can I help you? And he gave me a ticket number and said, I'm looking for so-and-so. He had the name, and he's seated with this ticket number of mine for this number of days. And it was a hunt for an individual who is sitting with a ticket number. My pleasure for me was that he's not just roaming around the building, but now that because of the technologies we have, it's easier to engage and track and know where we are. So digital channels are also going to help us with our reach in terms of how far we can go into the tax base and the population. Where we are right now, we cannot open stations in every district. But with things like a USSD channel, we are able to allow every Ugandan to be able to pay tax from their bedrooms, from the market, from wherever they are, schools and the like. And for us to be able to do this again, we've also changed the game. That now we're not just roaming around, we are collecting a lot of data. I think you've seen machines like SIGPA that sit within the factory and real time gives us what the production volumes look like, by what product type, by what volume, and that translates simply into revenue that we're looking for. So there's a lot of investment that we're putting into our infrastructure because we believe that data is a gold mine. This data is what gives us the financial data we need, and to understand the financial flows, it is what gives us visibility over the economy, because Bank of Uganda, the Ministry of Finance, and everyone will depend on this data to be able to know which goods are in the market, how are they selling, what is the challenge, and what can we do better. But to be able to do that, there's a lot of investment that we do within our technology, in terms of networks, in terms of collection, in terms of storage, in terms of the research and the analysis. We're putting together teams of data scientists that should be able to interpret this data, and we've seen that we're visualizing this data so that it's easier for us to interpret it and to share it with the communities that and stakeholders that we work with. And so much goes into this. I will not jump into what we're doing, what there is here, but I think the story is that URA, to be able to play this complex game, we are collecting a lot of data from telcos, from manufacturers, from people who are merchanting and trading, so many different things, and we're interpreting this to find the implications on our revenues and on our policies. And so this strategy has really just taken an approach that seeks for us to solve the problems that we see within the URA from that regard. And we've been sitting down to identify the issues, and we've created actionable solutions. And out of those solutions, we've created the actionable practical solutions, and now we're going to operationalize them. And so the book or the strategy that you have by the QR code or the copy, for some of you who have it, is just our roadmap on how we are going to be able to walk this journey. And very quickly, from a technology point of view, these are the wins that we're looking to achieve. Number one, that we'll be able to provide all our clients an instant service, or near instant service. When we were walking around, most of the questions we got were about queues at the border, they were about delays in interpretation, they were about so much of how fast do we execute our duty. So our role and why we're deploying technology is to make sure that we offer an instant service. Number two, we are again going out to use technology to make it inclusive for everybody. Somebody was asking me, but what are you doing for the local government, for the farmer out there who is not on the books? And we've created a USSD channel that would allow them, using their feature phone that they only use for mobile money, to be able to pay taxes off that very phone. And some of us, even in the city, taxi drivers and the like, have been able to pay taxes or renew their driving permits without going onto these complicated portals that we have on the website, but just simply by dialing *285# on their mobile phone, they're able to do that. Number three is really to make our systems interoperable. Some of the work that you saw, for example, with IRAS, is integration with district, with all the MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies, for us to come together and build a tax ecosystem that then is able to deliver value. And the number of things in there that we're doing. But overall, we want to be able to build an environment that's simply plug and play. If an MDA shows up and they want to contribute in terms of, let's say, fees or taxes and collection, then they can do that. If a bank shows up and they want to plug with us and deliver this service, it's seamless and easy. And this is really what we call our must-win battles in this strategy. And for us to be able to execute on this strategy, what we've done is to break it down into particular objectives. And those objectives are informed by a value proposition that I'll simply walk through, that we want to offer the instant services, like I've said, inclusive and interoperable. And the value proposition that we want is really centered on the pains that we've had as the URA. One is a client-centric service. We have not always been known to be client-centric, but we are working very hard to make sure that whatever we do it so professionally and centered on the client. Number two, that our ledgers are accurate, that there is no contestation on the position of the ledger. And when we were walking through there, we saw that we've broken down this ledger to know what's the penalty, what's the interest, what is the principal tax. And right now we're running with a waiver to say if you pay the principal tax, the penalty and the interest should be waived. So we want to make sure that going forward, our ledgers are accurate. Number three is that our systems and services uptime is 99.99%. That's why we built that data center. And that's why we continue to invest money into technology to ensure that our service delivery is real-time, regardless of whatever technical faults might exist. And lastly, that our data is reliable and accurate. And this is both internal and public data, because a lot of organizations, including government, including international organizations, depend on our data to do research and to understand the economic environment in Uganda. So for us to be able to deliver all this in terms of the customer value proposition is why this strategy is broken down into the different objectives. I'll not run through each one of them, but quickly to provide clarity and certainty for taxpayers so that they do not have any questions about what is URA, how to engage with URA, or how to get their problem solved, or when they need information from the URA. The new portal is simplified in terms of navigation to make sure that it's clear and easy for the taxpayer to understand their obligation with us. Number two is to make it easy and that these stakeholders comply with their obligations. So we are making sure we have enough channels. IFRIS, for example, is one of those areas where we've struggled. And we're working on a mobile app to make sure we put this on the tab so that even a person in Chikubo or Shauriako has an option and they have no excuse not to comply because of the complexity of our systems. Three is to detect taxpayers and traders who do not comply and make non-compliancy very difficult, hard and costly. And I think we've seen some of our risk management tools, and there's a lot of data science going on, again, to make sure that we identify these risks, these leakages, and be able to speak to them. Number four is really about our staff. One of the questions I kept getting is that this is a heavy investment, and how do you sustain it? Is it that it's done by vendors? I am happy to tell you that a number of the solutions we've seen have been actually developed by Ugandans in the URA here, and therefore we have sustainability on their delivery. And so, as an objective, we shall continually develop a high-performing, diverse, agile, and engaged workforce, and we work very hard with our HR team to make sure that our IT teams and the technology people are taken care of, they are supported, they are trained, and they are engaged. Number five is to increase and expand the use of data within a comprehensive knowledge management framework. And this is really to drive integrity, to derive insights, and to improve outcomes. The Honorable Minister kept saying, "Ore, you're showing me all this, but I want to know how has it translated into the bottom line, incomes." And so our focus is really around the outcomes in terms of revenue and development of our country. Six is to modernize our systems and to provide digital streamlined online services to shorten customer journeys. Like I said, taxes should be paid like a water bill. From your bathroom, when you're at the beach, wherever you are, you should be able to do this. And whatever we are doing is to make sure that our customer journeys are digitalized. That's why if you are the border, we should scan your goods. And if you're going to the bonded warehouse, we shouldn't scan them. You should simply go to the bonded warehouse and we'll track you with the BIM systems that we've seen. And so therefore shorten our customer journeys. Number 7 is demonstrate resource stewardship. I think the CFG will tell you that we've cut down IT costs even as we're elevating its footprint by